Hello, Sentinel viewers. This is Mr. Wendell, and welcome to this new edition of the Sentinel Internet News webcast. And since we haven't been around a while, we had to bring one of the heavy hitters here. We have Dickie Myler. He's running for mayor of Somerville. How you doing, Dickie?
Wendell, I'm doing fine. So good seeing you, my brother.
It's nice seeing you too.
You better believe it.
I heard you running for mayor.
Absolutely. Very excited about that. Something I have been praying about for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're a resident of Somerville, right?
Well, born and raised. And very proud of that, by the way. Had the pleasure to grow up in a town that I thought was idyllic, in a small community that nurtured everybody. Had a chance to grow up with some of the better basketball players of all time in Somerville, and so we learned our trade on the hard courts at Laurel Street.
He was one of the great basketball players himself.
Well, so was Wendell. So the man had game, you better believe that.
Mm-hmm. And so you learned and you hit all the courts and everything like that. And then after high school, what did you do?
It was kind of interesting. I always wanted to play football, but after my brother got hurt, when he was the quarterback of the summer football team, I decided just to stay with basketball. And went to UTC Chattanooga on a basketball scholarship after high school and loved it. And played with one of the greatest players in Louisville high school history, a guy named Wayne Golden, who played for 20 years in the pros. But I learned a lot, because one of the teams we played against while I was there was East Tennessee State.
Right.
And at that time, their starting power forwards were Ed Too Tall Jones.
For real?
For real, who played for the the Dallas Cowboys for years. And the other one was Leonard Truck Robinson, who played for the New York basketball team, Knicks, for years. So I mean, it was just amazing seeing these kind of people play and be with him face to face, body to body, and you realize how good you are or how good you're not.
Right.
And I realized I really wasn't that good, but I loved the game. Came back and married Debbie. We've been married for 39 years. We've raised 4 beautiful daughters and live in Somerville, and have had the pleasure to serve this community in many different ways, whether it would be at the YMCA or Children of Crises, on the board of directors at Pinewood School, or at Somerville High School, and our church. We believe that
What church do you go to?
I go to St. Paul's Church,
Okay.
and we believe in giving back to a community that's been so good giving to us.
Right.
And it's always been a give and take, but you can't outgive the giver.
So when you came back, you got into the family business.
I certainly did. My dad, Sherwood, was in the real estate business. My brother, Sherwood, also got into it, and it just kind of grew from there. And I must say, it's been a wonderful ministry. We consider it a housing ministry, meeting the most wonderful people from all over the world, really now, and welcoming them into Somerville, which I still feel is the jewel of the Low Country.
Well, being in Somerville, you've seen, being in the real estate business, you've seen a lot of growth. Tell me about it a little bit.
Wendell, it's been so much growth. A lot of it's been very positive.
Right.
And I believe that growth needs to be what we call strategic, and that makes sense, as long as we have the infrastructure to support that growth.
Right.
Sadly, over the years, we've made a few mistakes, and consequently, traffic's a bear, congestion's a headache, and that's one of the things I really hope to relieve as I become our mayor. But there are things we want to do to make Somerville even a better place. But the growth has been amazing. When you and I, I'm a little older than you, but when I graduated...
Just by a year.
Well, I used to love watching this guy play, but when I graduated from high school in 1973, I think the town had 3,700 people in it. Now it's like 55,000, so a lot of growth.
Right. Well, you decided to run for mayor, correct? Why?
Wendell, that's a great question, and I love to answer it. I'm running for mayor because I see Somerville, the town that I grew up in the same light that I see my marriage to Debbie. Meaning, we've been married for 39 years, and as the years and seasons roll on, I find myself loving her more and more as I get to see her heart, see the parts of her that grow and bloom, and so our relationship deepens, and my love grows for her more and more. The same with the Somerville. I'm loving this town more than I did when I was born here. I believe it's the finest town in South Carolina. We are the jewel of the Low Country. We are Flower Town in the Pines, and I want to make sure that as a custodian and a leader of this town that there's a steady hand, there's a wise hand that believes in growth, but smart growth,
Right.
that understands also we have to protect the town feel that makes us so special.
Right.
Yes, it was exciting times.
So by doing that, you still have to you have to reach a happy medium between the traditionalists, the people who've been here, and they come here and been here, right?
I've heard that term many times. It's kind of funny how it works. The way I look at it, if you've been here a year, you're a been here now because you're here.
Right.
But more importantly than that, why are you here? What brought you here? And I believe it's because of our location,
Right.
the wonderful community sense that we have in Somerville, and no disrespect to all the little outlying towns, but towns like Mount Pleasant, West Ashley, North Charleston, they don't have the community feel that Somerville has. And it's palatable. People know that. And they come here from where they come from, New York, California, Ohio. They feel it, and they want to embrace it. So I want to make sure that they feel like I feel as a stakeholder in the future of this town. I want our great-grandchildren to love living in Somerville. And to do that, we have to do some things that demand wisdom, they demand prudence, but also to be able to say no. We don't have to say yes to everything that comes to our way.
So what do you feel is going to be one of the bellwether marks with the growth of the Nexton area, which is also in Somerville, correct?
That is correct. And by the way, Wendell, thank you. That's a great question. Because Somerville is a very wide town. It does include Nexton, parts of Nexton, and it includes parts of Summers Corner back on Highway 61.
Right.
And we're growing down Highway 78 towards Ridgeville. So the town continues to grow, and I want to make sure that everybody feels like they're part of it, because each one is distinctively different. So I want those different areas to embrace it. For example, I love going to Nexton with Hall's Chop House and others over there. It's a great place to go. But it's not Somerville. It's not the town of Somerville. It has its own merit, its own beauty, but it can't duplicate what we already have in Somerville. So I want to make sure we preserve and protect Old Town Somerville, enhance it, increase the downtown walkability. In fact, I'm very excited about increasing the walkability of downtown so more people can come and enjoy living in town and shopping in town. To do that, we have to have more parking, and I have a wonderful idea of putting a new parking garage right in the YMCA parking lot. And then across the road, which is the SC&G building, that whole corner that the town now owns, there put the new county library that folks are talking about.
That would be cool.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, right.
And then I want to recreate the old town depot, which was destroyed when you and I were children, and make that a beautiful restaurant, anchored by a wine bar. And then move the old museum, which is right next to the Ice House, which most people don't even know where that is now, and put that on the same plot.
Right.
And then surround that with cute little trendy stores and novelty shops and a brewery. Make that really fun.
That sounds really great.
I think it would be, because as we all know, you can go to small town after small town and they've embraced what they have. Doesn't mean they are shielding themselves from change. They just want to make sure the change doesn't change them.
So, other than Nexton, what do you think is going to be some of the other things that's going to happen inside the Somerville city limits and Dorchester County and the greater part of it together?
As you have probably heard, Dorchester County has just completed if you can't believe this, a $200 million project to include stormwater capacity and sewer capacity. So we are building for the growth. And so the Highway 78 corridor is going to be huge. And that right now is anchored by, as you well know, the Walmart distribution center.
Right.
And of course, across the I in Berkeley County is where the Volvo plant is, and they are continuing to grow and expand with other businesses like that. So there's going to be a demand for more housing out there,
Right.
which means more schools. And all that means more roads, or wider roads, or safer roads. So this is going to cost money.
So are you telling me that y'all anticipating that it's going to fill in from Dorchester all the way back?
For all my friends in Dorchester, God love you. I know you love living out there in the country. But times are going to be changing because people want to move out, but they all want to be in this area. By the way, I would like to say this, is that we had a demonstration by the developers of Nexton 2 weeks ago,
Right.
sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, and they showed these graphs where Nexton is and where the growth corridor is. We can't help but to grow. I mean, it is ideally located between the ocean and I-95, and that's where that 33 miles of growth is going to happen, and it is happening right now. So how do we prepare for it as opposed to be overwhelmed by it? So that's what I want to do. I want to prepare for it, make sure that we have the finances, the resources to do the infrastructure. By the way, I just looked at some data last week, and right now on the books to be approved for permitting, we have over 4,000 homes in Dorchester County. We'll do the math. That times 4 is 16,000 more people. That's 16,000 more cars. I mean, it's crazy. So how is that going to affect us if we don't get ahead of it and be proactive? So I believe in being proactive, like raising a family, like being a captain of a basketball team or anything else. You have to lead by example, and that's what I hope and pray to do.
So what do you think is distinguish you between your opposition?
That's a good question. And let me say this. I have the highest respect for my opposition. Good man with a heart for the town, and is doing a good job on town council. So nothing but kudos to him. What separates me, though, is my experience with all the facets of community service. My running a small, successful business for 35 years. I understand the heartbeat of what a town needs. I have served in almost every nonprofit, so I understand how they work and how all these members contribute as stakeholders. Plus, I have wonderful relationships with those other people that are involved in this community, the Chamber of Commerce, the Dream, our legislative body, the stakeholders and patrons, and store owners downtown, and of course the school district. All of these, as a former PTA president, I understand all these components need sound, solid leadership, but collaborative work together. And I believe I have the best gift and talents to do that. Plus, I want to say this. Nobody loves this town more than I do.
Well, Sam, you covered a lot in a little bit of time. Is there anything that you would like to tell the viewers?
I would, Wendell. Well, first things first, I want to thank you very much, my friend, for having me on. You've been a blessing to us for a long time, and I thank you for that. And secondly, what I'd like to tell all the folks of Summerville is that I would like to be seen as a people's champion, somebody that reaches across every border. Because of my background, I know and work with and support and believe in all communities, all races, all creeds, all ages. And I believe that by working together, we can make this town the greatest small town in Summerville and continue to keep that vibe, that feel, that sense of what Summerville's all about. That happens by working together. So I really need your support and, of course, your vote on November the 7th that we can make sure we do great things for this town. So I thank you, and I God bless you and your families. And if I can ever be of any help to any of y'all, please feel free to call me or contact me anytime.
There you have it. Sentinel Views. This is Dickie Myler. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you so much, Wendell.
All right.
God bless, brother. Yes, sir.
Bye.